I have to tell you two things that I take from this weekend. One, the Brooklyn Nets, a 6-game winning streak, and it's all on the road, and it's all without Kevin Durant. And one of the more bizarre things happening last night with Paul George in the LA Clippers, which was just absolutely crazy, especially because he was playing so great, and they actually set him down because of minutes limits.
So this was, if you didn't see the game late last night, and you're just saying, oh, wow, the Nets won another game, there's a couple of things at the end of this game that you need to know about. One was the offensive foul on Kawhi Leonard as he's driving to the hoop, and you have a little bit of a flop situation with James Harden. And then after that, or actually before that, rather.
A little bit of a flop situation? I mean, a little bit of a flop situation.
I'm being kind because they're playing so well, and he's been so great. But it was a flop situation, all right?
Well, his team won. That's all that matters, and he flopped at the right time.
He did flop at the right time, and he got the call, and that was that. And they didn't have a challenge because they used it earlier on a screen. So it was just not a good situation for the Clippers. But, I mean, to me, they shot themselves in the foot a couple of minutes earlier because 2 minutes and 50 seconds to go in the game. The Clippers are down 6. Paul George has been playing great the entire game. And what happens? Ty Lue says, you're out of the game, and you're out of the game for the rest of the game because you hit your minutes, and that's that. So they had to play the final 3 minutes, and they came back and had an opportunity to win the game. But the final 2 minutes and 50 seconds without Paul George, not because he was hurt, not because he had fouled out, not because of anything other than the fact that he hit his minutes restriction. And then at the end of the game, Ty Lue's asked about it. He's laughing. He's like, yep, I know. And he's looking around. And then Paul George is asked, how frustrated are you? He goes, I think you know the answer to the question. It sucks. So this is something that's coming from the front office, and they're telling Ty Lue and the player, you got to get out. And it's just so stupid. So add this on another list of things that turn you off about today's NBA is where you have front offices dictating how much these guys can play. And how about the coach earlier? If you do have a strict 33-minute restriction, how about sitting them down in the first quarter a little bit more as opposed to 2 minutes and 50 seconds left in the game, you're pulling a superstar out. Just completely stupid, and you hate to see those things. I understand health of players is important, and being healthy in the playoffs is important for teams like this with superstars, but it just didn't feel right at the end of the game with this guy sitting for no reason.
Especially when Harden and Irving are both playing 41 and 40 minutes respectively.
Exactly.
I mean, it's like those guys are out there, and they're out there without Kevin Durant, and they've won 6 in a row. They've won them all on the road, and that's got to be one of the great road trips in Nets history.
Yep.
If it's not I don't know what's better than that. And especially with the teams that they were playing against. Now, the other thing now this brings me to is to the real basketball team in the NBA, and that would be the Knicks.
Yeah.
And Julius Randle, you know it, I know it. He's going to be named to the All-Star team. Come on. It's ridiculous if he doesn't get named. He will be named, and that will either happen either today or tomorrow, most likely tomorrow. And that brings me to tomorrow night's game, the Clippers. Now, they almost lost last night to the worst team in basketball, but they held on. And they gave Tom Thibodeau something that he needed desperately, and that's to beat one of his old teams, his previous team. And R.J. Barrett played in the fourth quarter, hit a couple big shots. That was big for them last night. But what's really important is that tomorrow night they play the Clippers.
No, the Warriors.
The Warriors. They play the Warriors, and fans are going to be in the building.
Yeah, that's right. And it's going to be an opportunity to get back to 500. They had that opportunity against Orlando. It didn't happen. Now they're going to have it at home with fans in the Garden against a very recognizable team and a team with some superstars on it in Golden State. So, yeah, I mean, it should be great. They should be able to feed off the energy. It's not like you're going from 0 to 100, though. You're not going 0 to full capacity. It is going to be just a fraction of the amount of people that you normally see, but you know that those fans are going to be loud, and you know it's going to be intense.
The NFL players that played in stadiums that had some fans, like Kansas City and down in Florida, they said that it made a difference.
Yeah.
That it definitely made a difference. It felt a little bit more normal. It didn't feel like it was a four-way scrimmage against Bellport, Patchogue, Medford, East Islip, and West Islip.
Comswag,
or whatever. that actually felt like it was something. So I would think, inside, with 1,200 fans or whatever it is, you're going to feel it, and the players will feel it. The players will feel some sense of normalcy, which would be good. The thing is that with the Warriors coming to town, you got Draymond Green getting thrown out again the other night, going crazy in the middle of a game. And, Steph Curry can light you up for 50 a night. You know that, and I know that. And just like this is a team that is 16-15. The Knicks are 15-16. Like, they're very close to each other.
Well, in record-wise, yes.
Yes, I'm saying. I mean, but I want, like, the Knicks have got to get here. I feel like this is a must-win Tuesday. I'm sorry, it's a must-win Tuesday.
You going to must-win Tuesday tomorrow?
Yes,
yeah, that's what we'll declare it at 6 o'clock, 24 hours from now. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you just in the fact that, that would be such a significant moment, I think, in the season, because you're back to 500, you got fans in the stands, and it's beating the Warriors. It's not the Warriors of the Dynasty Warriors, but it's still the Warriors, and it's still Steph Curry who's healthy. So, yeah, I mean, that would be such a disappointment to finally have fans in that building, and then this team that's played so well doesn't play so well against Golden State and loses. But that's been the one thing about this Knicks season that's been missing is the fact that, the appreciation from New York, the appreciation from the Knicks fans, and maybe they see it on Twitter, maybe they see it elsewhere. I don't know these players, but like Julius Randle, I want him to have a standing ovation. I want him to be able to experience that. All these guys that got drafted by the Knicks, signed with the Knicks, one of the things that they had heard about, as bad as the organization has been, was, you play well. It's incredible the amount of support that you're going to get from the city and the Knicks fans, and they haven't been able to experience that in a season that's been a hell of a lot better than their previous ones.
Well, there's some very interesting things out there for New York right now. One of them happens to be Deshaun Watson for the Jets.
Yeah.
One of them happens to be, for hockey fans, Jack Eichel to the Rangers, which I do not want. I'm not advocating for that because of the salary and because of what it would take to get a guy like that. And just because one of our top guys isn't playing that well, everybody wants to freak out. We got 40 games left. Even if he goes off in the last 20, which is ultimately going to determine who makes the playoffs in all these divisions, that will be important. You also have, and who I finally think that the Knicks should target if they can, but when you target one of these superstar-type players, what does it do to your team when it comes to salary cap? What does it do to your team taking away assets that you have right now that you believe you can build with, whether it be for the Jets, it's draft picks.
Sure.
For the Knicks, it may be young players like Emmanuel Quickley and maybe R.J. Barrett. But the guy that I would try to target, and he's got 3 years left in his contract, would be Karl Anthony Towns, if he wanted out of Minnesota.
Yeah, he would have to make that.
He would have to do it. He would have to go.
He would. He would have to.
I don't necessarily know that he's the type of guy that would do that. And
especially everything he's gone through lately and the support he's gotten from that community. And he had his mother die because of COVID and other family members, and then he got it. And it just seems, I don't know, maybe not this year, but he does have 3.5 years left on that contract. And he is definitely one of those guys that is a team changer. And he's still very, very young. And the Kentucky connection that the Knicks have. So, I mean, all of that is there.
Just a question, like, what do you have to give up to get a guy like that? And then, bringing him here, it's the same thing with Deshaun Watson. So out there, many people say the Jet, roster is terrible. It's one of the worst in the league. That's pretty much a foregone conclusion that everybody feels that way. Now, there's a lot of young guys that we don't know much about and that we'll see in their second and third year. Maybe they'll be even better. Like Quinnen Williams was much better this year than he was his rookie year. And now all of a sudden people are talking about trading him to go get Deshaun Watson along with draft picks and all this other stuff. And you're saying to yourself, okay, I mean, why would Deshaun Watson want to come to a team that's basically going to wipe out their assets, and then he's going to be stepping into a situation much like he would be leaving?
Well, because you're banking on you're going to an organization that's going to build it the right way. You have a coach and a general manager that you trust. And as we've talked about many times with the Jets, they're not wiping away every asset they have in the draft or the trade like this because they've got 2 first-round picks each of the next 2 years. So I don't know. That's the...
As I've been saying for months now, Joe Douglas has got the team positioned perfectly with a new coach now, with lots of draft assets. They'll have to figure out what they're going to do with Sam Darnold if they can go and get Deshaun Watson. Now, here's the other thing I will tell you. And hopefully this stuff is all going to start happening because, free agency is right down the road. That we're getting ready to hit tag season. Well, they'll have about 2 weeks to tag the players, franchise tags around the league. Like, this is where the Dallas Cowboys will determine what they're doing with Dak Prescott and all this other stuff. So that stuff hits in March. But the thing for, the Jets right now is, let's just say you can't get Deshaun Watson and he wants to go to Miami and he ends up going to Miami. So now you're in your division. In Buffalo, what do you have? You have
Josh
Josh
Allen. Yep.
And down in Miami, you have Deshaun Watson. So now the real question for you is how do you defeat those guys? Do you get another quarterback that you think may be able to become one of those guys, or do you stay with Sam and then just draft as many freaks that you can on defense?
Yeah, well, also offense.
No, but I'm just telling you, this is where your guys on defense. You got to have fast guys on defense. You got to have guys like they had out in San Francisco.
Yeah.
That can assault people like they had in Tampa this year.
I understand.
Where's the next Devin White coming from? Where's Shaq Barrett coming from? Where are these next level guys that you could get on defense in a draft? That's with all these picks that you have, I want everybody that's running 4.4 or less. I don't care, and I want them all on defense because I'm playing these two quarterbacks 4 times.
I'm telling you, though, it's going to be tough at number 2 if you end up selecting there, not taking Devontae Smith, though. It's going to be very difficult if you're sticking with Sam.
Yeah, but the other point is that you could take that pick and make more picks out of it.
Right. If there's another team that's desperately wants Zach Wilson or desperately wants Justin Fields, you trade. And then you move down and you acquire even more picks.
And again, you're sitting in Joe Douglas's office. That's exactly what they're trying to figure out.
Yeah.
They're trying to figure out, is Zach Wilson a kid? Is Justin Fields a kid? Or is Sam Darnold a kid? Trade the second pick, yet add even more picks, and just keep adding. And just keep firing shots on goal, and just trying to get as many guys in here as you possibly can. And I'm telling you, the way that they did it out in San Francisco, which obviously Rob Saleh was a part of, he saw it. He saw that defensive line. He saw what a defensive line, how it can absolutely crush a game and ruin a game, especially against an offensive line that's beat up like Kansas City, as we saw in the Super Bowl. I mean, I went back and looked at that film. I'm telling you, Patrick Mahomes is a magician that he didn't get killed.
By the way, congratulations to Patrick Mahomes and his wife and fiance. I guess maybe they haven't gotten married yet, on their birth of their baby daughter.
Does that make me an uncle?
Yeah, actually, I think it does. Yes.
Yes, okay.
Uncle Boomer this morning. Sterling Sky Mahomes, who was born over the weekend. But, yeah, and then that team got to a Super Bowl and was leading in a Super Bowl with a quarterback who is, I think, thought of by most as average to slightly above average at best in Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, that really is the model.
They just couldn't stop him in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, right.
But, see, again, can Sam Darnold –
can he be Jimmy Garoppolo? Can he be Ryan Tannehill? Can he be one of those guys?
Can he be one of those guys and then load up on defense and get as fast as you possibly can on defense and find a Devin White? I mean, like with all these picks that he's got, with all the different, with the amount of money that they have under the salary cap, he should be able to do whatever he wants to do, assuming he doesn't go and get Deshaun Watson.
Yeah. I mean, this is going to be a really interesting offseason for the Jets, whereas I feel like with the Giants, there's just not a ton that they're going to be doing that's going to excite people.
Right.
They're just going to continue to build and try to get better and come back year 2 with Joe Judge, and hopefully Daniel Jones is better and healthy and Saquon's healthy. That's sort of what the Giants are with the Jets. It's like the possibilities are limitless with the new coach and all the picks and Deshaun Watson out there and everything else. So we're going to be talking a lot about what their future is. And to me, I've said from the beginning, if they can get Deshaun Watson, they'll do it. If they can't, I feel like they're going to keep Sam Darnold. That's just the way I feel.
I always feel like, for me, that Joe Douglas is sitting right now in a general manager's chair that any general manager worth his weight would want to sit in, because of now it's his team. He's got his new coach, his own handpicked coach, and now he has all of this draft capital and all of this salary cap space. Do you realize, like, he is sitting on a pile of gold?
Sure.
And not many general managers, like if you're Nick Caserio and you're down there in Houston and you're inheriting that, you're inheriting like the total opposite of what Joe Douglas has. So every general manager that is worth his weight would wish that they would be in a situation like Joe Douglas. He's like in the best possible situation you can be in, with all the draft capital that you have, all the space you have underneath the salary cap, and the ability with the number 2 overall pick to decide if you want to go with a new quarterback.
Yeah, so we said that not that long ago about Mike McCagnon, and Mike McCagnon ended up signing Le'Veon Bell.
Well, didn't do it well.
Tremaine Johnson.
Well, the point being is he didn't do it well.
Right.
And, I think, when Dave Gettleman came to the Giants, he came with the edict from the Mara family and the Tisch family. Look, we got to clean this thing out. We got to start over. We have got to start finding the right players, the right coach. And, Dave Gettleman's in the middle of all that stuff right now. And Joe Douglas is essentially really starting, even though he's been here and last year's free agency class wasn't great. He's essentially really starting from scratch right now. And that was when he finally fired, Adam Gase and got rid of all of that. He started from scratch. And now this is the beginning of what you hope is going to be a long run for the general manager that has more decisions to make than most general managers have in 2 or 3 years. He's got to make literally in the next 3 months.
Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the red bell so you're notified when we have new content.